officially talking about the PlayStation boss that wants PlayStation 5 Pro to continue 10-year generation cycle. Okay. So, first off, it's continue, right? He says continue the 10-year generation cycle, right? So he wants to add another 6 years, right? We're in 2024. They're looking to be pretty much 2030, right? Before going ahead and popping that next cherry, right? Which means that you're gonna have what, six plus years of lower than low ray tracing on your console. I mean, we did the comparison to Xbox Series X on Hogwarts, right? And I don't know, that ray tracing looked pretty good on the Xbox Series X. I don't know. I don't know if we were just seeing things, but let's go ahead and dive in and let's see what's actually being talked about over here. All right. So PlayStation boss wants PlayStation 5 Pro to continue 10-year generation cycle. Hideki Nishino, one of PlayStation's co-CEOs, explains that the PlayStation 5 Pro isn't a next-gen console, and Sony wants the console generation to last a decade. So I gotta tell you, just without even reading anything further, like as I'm just saying this out loud.
Real quick,
Go
Harky
ahead.
just threw in some codes. I want to let everybody know, just in case they're not watching, they're listening. So Harky
Shit.
says, get ready. Codes incoming. All global. Get in there, you guys.
Oh shit. I'm assuming this is for Xbox. Yes? Xbox. These are Xbox codes.
All Xbox codes, yeah.
Call of Duty Vault Edition.
Let's go.
On Xbox. Dragon Age Deluxe Edition on Xbox. Metaphor. Holy shit. He is not fucking around. He is not fucking around, guys. This is Hargeet. Thank you, man. Appreciate
Thank you so much, Hargeet.
Very kind.
Guys, let us know who got it.
Let us know, man. Let us know. Look. All right. Let's go ahead.
Shout out to Hargeet. Let's go.
Gangster. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. All right. So when I was thinking about this, right, I'm thinking about the Pro lasting another 6 years. Like 6 years is a long time. Like, think about it. It's been 4 years of that whack ass PlayStation 5 that hasn't even dropped a next gen game. Do you think, before we go further with this conversation, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think they ever drop a real next gen game? Like real, built from the ground up, pushing tech, spending a lot of money to, make this game look crazy and shit like that. Do you think we get a real next gen game from PlayStation this generation for the next 6 years? I mean, we're like 2024 is over. Next year, we know they don't have shit except for Ghost of Yotei, and that shit is the last gen game, right? So you're talking really 26, 27, 28, 29, hold the fuck on. Are you saying that the new Xbox is going to have 4 years?
Well, I think they're talking about a cross-gen, right? Because they're going to keep this thing going. Because they did, like, the last was, when did they stop? 3 years in? Something like that, right?
Okay. So
because they kept releasing PS4 games.
Yeah, PlayStation 4 launched in 2013.
In 2013.
And as of last year, I mean, technically now, didn't they still release something on PlayStation? One of these last games? Yeah,
I think
wasn't one
Spider-Man 2 is the first time they did not put it on PS4, right? Because everything before that was all PS4 games. So that was kind of 10-ish years, right?
Yeah, 10ish years. Okay. So we're saying
Yeah,
that they're gonna go a little earlier than that. So if we look at the PlayStation 4 cycle, you're talking 7 years, right?
yeah,
So if it's 7 years, right,
and
that
then we'll do cross
means
gen for a while.
yeah, they'll do cross gen for a while. I don't think it's gonna be 7 years though. I think we know from the records that they were thinking 8 years,
Yeah.
right? 2028 is the supposed time frame. So 2028 and then 2 years of cross gen.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of like so a lot of their studios use the Decima engine and they would have to retrofit that to so the problem with trying to do this is just like what Xbox ran into, right? If you don't have a team that's dedicated to really changing it, like if you have the slip space engine, right? That takes work to make it a next gen engine. Unreal has like an entire team whose job it is just to do that, right? And that's why they all like they're like, well, why don't we just use that instead? It's just easier to take that headache away from us, let them do it, right? And you can just see like iteration after iteration, like 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, just how much better it keeps getting, right? That's a lot of work that makes that happen, right? So I don't know if they have the personnel to do it. Maybe they do, right? But that's what they would have to do. They'd have to revamp the Decima engine, which is like, I think it's like the majority of their studios are using the Decima engine. I'm trying to think of ones that don't. I think the Gran Turismo engine is different, right? I think they're different. Um,
Their polyphony.
Polyphony, yeah. I don't know that like Fair Games is using Decima. I think they would probably be using maybe they're using Unreal. I don't know. I don't know what they'd be using. Um, I'm pretty sure Bend uses Decima. Uh, who else do they have? Like I I think the vast
I
majority of
mean,
the games are on
just Ghost
Decima.
of Tsushima people,
I'm pretty sure that's
Horizon
Decima.
people, um, Ghost of Tsushima. You think is
I mean,
Decima?
Horizon is Decima because Gorilla, I'm pretty sure
Horizon's
made Decima.
Decima.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think they made
Gorilla's
that,
the one
right?
who makes that engine. Yeah,
So it's gonna be
Death
Decima.
Stranding is part two is gonna be Decima again.
Decima, yeah, they use Decima. I think the Uncharted Last of Us, I think they use Decima, right?
You think
I
so?
I don't know. What do they
I don't
use? Do
think
they
so
have
because
their
Uncharted
own?
was before Horizon, so they would have their own.
Let's see.
Naughty
What
Dog has
does
their own engine.
Last of Us game engine? Let's see
Yeah,
what
I
they
don't think
use. Maybe
I don't
they're
think
the
they
ones
use
that do it.
Decima.
It just says proprietary engine, so it must be their own internal engine. So it's possible the engine is called the Naughty Dog game engine. That they do something again. That means they would have to spend time on doing that. I
Which they
don't
just
know.
scrapped the game that they were 100% focused on, right? So they
Yeah,
were
factions.
all in on factions, and now they're starting
Who
something
else
new.
got God of War? Do they use?
Um,
Let me just see God of
God of War,
War game engine. Let's see what they use.
the 2018 God of War, does that predate? Well, Horizon was 2017, right? Yeah, the same year as Breath of the
Yes.
Wild. So it does predate it. So technically, it's a possibility, but it's such a different feel to that game. I don't think that's
It
Decima.
says it's an in-house Sony Santa Monica one, so maybe that one. But again, we just saw Ragnarok.
Which was
I
not next gen. You got Insomniac, which is
yeah.
not pumping next gen.
I don't know, man. Like it's gonna be a hard sell. Like whatever they work on, like the small team isn't gonna be the one that's gonna push it. I don't think, right? It's gonna be the big team,
No,
and they just put out Ragnarok 2 years ago, right? So they're not gonna have a game for another few years. So maybe by the end of this generation they have something. That's a possibility. I don't know, right?
I don't know. I don't know if they're doing that. I don't know if they're tapping out of that race. You know what I'm saying? I think that they might be giving into the good enough is good enough
Yeah, I don't know if
scenario.
we're gonna go ahead and see them kind of push and have that next gen. I don't know that they can with what's left there in the lack of money. I don't know.
But the question is, like, do they want to like switch over to something like an Unreal? And that's where they would see a massive like next gen like looking thing, right? So unless they want to invest in their engines, which they could, again, like they're also cash strapped. I it's a tough sell. I don't know, man. Like they've put themselves in an odd position. I'll just say that. I don't know how easy it's going to be for them to do so. I I want to say Insomniac has their own as well, right? Because they kind of created that whole Sunset
Yeah, Insomniac.
Overdrive thing,
Yep.
right? And that's how they were
Which
able to
they
do
just
Spider-Man.
celebrated like a few days ago on a post. How awkward is it to be pumping up a game that's on Xbox? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't play it on PlayStation, I don't think, right? Or did it finally? It didn't go.
I think they
They
missed
come
it.
out.
They gave them the rights to it. I think
Well,
did.
they own it, but it's not out. Like I don't think they
Yeah.
made a PlayStation version of Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah.
So I think it's still just
Which is
living.
another
I don't
interesting
think
question. If they have the rights to do it, then why didn't they just port it? Like, what does it take to port that over? You might as well. They remake every other stupid game.
possible. I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe Sony butthurt. You know what I'm saying? They're like, no, we don't want that one. Looking up. I don't know. That's a good question, man. I don't know. I mean, listen, it's not looking great, right? It's not hopeful that they're gonna go ahead and be able to deliver something. But let's get back to the boss that wants to continue this life cycle, right? So he spoke with Variety, says he was happy to see, God bless you, my love, that the most engaged gaming users are interested in the PlayStation 5 Pro. So very little people got it. And shared his belief that new users will grab the PS5 Pro as well. Sure thing, bud. We design everything with having one ahead in our mind. So they designed this while having the next one in their mind. Got it. It's not like we just make a next step and we don't know about the 2 steps ahead. Okay, hold on. He just said we design everything having one ahead.
Yep.
But in the matter of seconds, they have become 2 steps ahead. Okay, so understand this how PlayStation works. They multiply within themselves.
Pony math.
You know what I'm saying? So 1 step ahead, now they're 2 step ahead. Okay. He said that's not our way of working because we need to make sure that the 10-year-old generation cycle continues to be going as well. So they I think they changed it or made a little nod, but PlayStation 4 Pro was introduced in 2016, right? So the PlayStation 4 Pro was introduced in 2016, only 4 years before the launch of the PlayStation 5. However, there are still PlayStation 4 games in production, which means its life cycle has now reached 11 years, even though the PlayStation 5 has been Sony's primary focus since 2020. That's a lie. 100%. The first next gen only game came out in 2020. I mean, that's also not true. Demon Souls is
So
technically next gen
Returnal
only.
and Demon Souls were the first few, right?
Returnal and Ratchet and
then
Clank.
RNC Rift Apart.
Yep.
Which those games could easily have been on PS4. They just decided.
Yeah. But that's why for me it doesn't make any sense because that's not real. But then again, when you go to Spider-Man 2, you're in the same fucking boat. That 100% could have been just a PlayStation 4 game, right? So there was no problem there. So I mean, okay, that's fine, right? So they said that. Now, so will Sony really wait until 2028 to 2030 to release his next gen PlayStation 6 if Microsoft releases another generational upgrade of the Xbox first? Nishino didn't address that, but he did stress that the PlayStation 5 Pro is not a next gen console. I just wanted to say that the Pro is not a next gen. It is still in the PlayStation 5 generation. PlayStation 5 Pro will do everything what PlayStation 5 does. So it's a consumer choice. If they see a need for more visuality, they will get it. So we wanted to provide an option for the consumers within the generation. That's what we're doing. Okay. Well,
And
I
by the
mean,
way, I'm assuming a lot of this is translation, right? Because Nishino is probably talking in Japanese, and somebody is translating on his behalf. I'm assuming what's happening here.
Hmm.
that's a possibility. He's speaking to Variety, so I mean, I don't know. Well, maybe he has a translator there with him. I mean, but what do you guys think? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, we've been kind of talking about it a little bit, but the fact that he keeps reiterating this not next gen, right? So I think he's talking to the ponies who are claiming that it's the power of a 4070 or 4090.
I
He's like,
assume.
bro, this is not like calm down. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop talking crazy. This is not a next gen console. It's gonna play your same fucking games that you got on PlayStation 5 with a little more, as he puts it, visuality.
Visual. What in the hell that means?
I don't even know what the fuck that he's talking about. I
Alright.
don't even know what he's talking
I
about.
mean, it's what
with
you
that.
guys see on the screen, right? If you zoom in, the leaves look a little bit
Pause,
better.
zoom in.
That's
Yep.
really all it is, right? Then it's not going to be substantially better. It's just not, right? You're looking for things that just aren't there, right? People comparing it to PC, I'm like, yeah, come on.
Don't do it. Don't do it, y'all.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. But I mean, so what do you guys think? Do you think that this is going to be like the next fucking 6 years? You think that this is actually going to do anything that is worthwhile? I mean, do we think that they're going to jump earlier? Like, do you think they're gonna let Xbox have the 2 years? I mean, I feel like coming out here and saying this shit is a way of him saying, like, don't expect next gen soon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I feel when I see this. I feel like
Yeah.
this is him saying this is not next gen, this is not next gen, but we want this to last 10 years, right? So they're trying to prepare you for the fact that they're going to hold off as long as they can. But
Because what? They're gonna need 10 years to try to figure out the freaking pisser for the developers to maybe possibly
Oh my
figure out how to
God.
work with that shit. That piece of crap that they threw in there and they want to pass it as some type of freaking upgrade. Like,
Damn.
what in the hell are we talking about here? The ponies were talking about PC because they were trying to justify the freaking price tag. $700 freaking dollars. That's bullshit. That's a load of crap. So they're out here trying to justify the freaking price because they think this is amazing, right? I think this is a load of crap. They're not waiting 10 fucking years. They're already working on the PlayStation 6. They said it themselves, right? We're what? How many steps ahead? Oh, they seem so fucking fast, right? If they only made games, wouldn't that be amazing? If they were only ahead with the games. But they're not. They can't figure out how to freaking make a good game to save their fucking company at this point. I was going to say to save their lives, but their freaking company. So
Their
what are you going
jobs.
to do if you can't put freaking software together and freaking go ahead and deliver something that people want to play? You think you're going to coast by with that 30% and continue to throw money away as you try to crack the code on how to copy something else because you can't come up with anything yourself that is worth freaking people playing? Anything better than Concord? Come on, man. They're working on the PlayStation 6. You know what the hell they want? They want people to waste their $700 on the pisser. Nobody's pre-ordering that shit. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants to spend the freaking money. So they want to freak people out. Oh my God, 10 years. I must get the pisser then. No one's going to get it. It doesn't matter what kind of fear you put into their freaking hearts. They're not going to spend $700 on the gosh darn pissers because you don't have any games. You don't have any games. Now, when you start charging what the pisser's really worth, maybe a couple of people will pick it up here and there. Maybe some people will jump on board. maybe if you start cracking, the code and figure out how to make some fucking games and, I don't know, spend your money wisely, they will go ahead and buy your freaking box. As of right now, all you're trying to do is do the same thing you did with freaking Yote, Yoke, Yo Mama, whatever the hell the name of that game is, Ghosts of PlayStation. What you were trying to do with that, and you were trying to excite people and make them think that you were going to deliver something other than remasters or remakes, right? That's what you're doing with this. You want them to freak out. You want them to go pick up the box. You want them to spend the freaking money. No one's going to show up. Fuck your party.
So you just real quick, you just put it's crazy. That's why you're a fucking beast. I wasn't even thinking about it that way, where this is them being desperate. Fucking Nishino, who the fuck talks to Variety? Nishino's like, I need to talk to somebody. All right, guys, this is gonna last 10 years. Okay, so you shouldn't wait. You should not wait. Okay, you should buy right now. Buy right now. It's too long.
Way to say I need money quick.
Doodle, you fucking crushed it, bro. That's 100% what the fuck they're doing. They're coming out here pretty much trying. And you know what's funny is I saw a fucking post from some pony who talked about why he's buying the PlayStation 5 and why he changed his mind. Because the next console is not coming out till like 2030. So I might as well get this and not be stuck with the PlayStation 5. Yo, bars.
Like, how are we going to get these dumbass ponies to go ahead and make a move? How are they going to pull the trigger?
Bars.
Hey, but at the same time, Doodle, this is why you didn't get in your mail a PlayStation 5 Pro. This is why. Because the way you step on these ponies, the way you walk them out, like, shelter dogs.
Oh my God.
That was a bloodbath. No PlayStation 5
God.
Pro for you. None of you. Hardly. You're not getting one either. For slaying ponies.
Oh my God.
We
should have said we love Astro Bot.
Bro, I was thinking about Astro Bot the other day because every time that you mess around with Astro Bot, I just crack up. I just get out of it. Why CMoney hate this little robot so much? Bro,
I don't care. I hate the fact that they're full of shit. I don't give a fuck about the little robot. Nobody does. But the only reason I go so hard on it is this bullshit ass nonsense that they came up with, where nobody talked about Astrobot. 0% of the people said anything on Twitter about Astrobot until the reviews came out. When the reviews came out, all of a sudden, they found this gigantic robot cock to stick into their mouths and just go at it nonstop. Like, this is the greatest thing ever. You know how you make sound through vibration. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's nonstop. Like
robot, they're like, they're so big.
This is it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what they did. And that's why it just annoys me that they came out acting like they've been sweating this shit forever.
On it and shit. It's fucking
I never heard.
that little ass shit. Come on, man.
I never heard any of these motherfuckers saying that the last Astro Bot that came out that is almost identical to this Astro that came out, because the reviews, it got a 91 Metacritic, is right around the same shit, right? I never heard any of these motherfuckers, and this one was free. None of them talked about grinning for fucking right? I never heard one of these motherfuckers,
bro,
ever say some shit like that. And now all of a sudden, oh my God, this is the happiest that I have ever been in my whole life. Oh my God, this little robot stick is so big. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is literally all I hear.
Let's go.
The well-endowed little robot.
God. Oh.
Hey, you just killed Astro Bot too, bro. Like, come on, bro. They just they just lost Conquer and now you kill Astro Bot. Like right now, you just like murdered her. Like cold blooded demonstration, man. Boo boo boo.
Fatality.
Dude, it's just dumb, right? I would have never even thought twice about the little robot. But because they wanted to glaze that shit hard so hard out of nowhere when nobody was talking about him,
Yeah.
all of a sudden they see a score, and all of a sudden everything, oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever like the
I
best
was
thing in my
mad
life.
chill about it too. I was like, okay, well, I was expecting more if they're gonna go ahead and start charging, but this is more of the same shit. Like,
Yeah.
I get why they're charging. I didn't think they will try to freaking charge what, $50, $60 for the game, maybe 20, $30. That was fair. But when people came out talking all this nonsense, I'm like, gosh darn, like, what are you doing? Like, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing
It
for
was
sure.
really.
And like Cargie said, like, Nintendo's been around for I don't know how long. If you didn't know that this is what you needed, go get yourself a Switch. You're missing out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're about to really lose your mind over the freaking Nintendo games.
Mhm.
For real, bro. Yeah.
It's the truth. It's the
Yo,
truth,
man,
man.
but like I wanted to add about the PlayStation
Yeah.
5 Pro lasting 10 years. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to say that this is crazy because like wasn't Jim Ryan and PlayStation the ones who said that they believe in generations? So what they literally told you was a lie, right? Because they are continuing to support PlayStation 4 in your face because they're telling you there is PlayStation 4 games in development as of now. Lying, crying, Mac
This is
crying,
why.
Jim Ryan, and Caradalla. But anyways, like
Got out.
that that means that in 10 years the PlayStation 5 Pro is gonna be supported. So this means the cycle continues that they were never gonna let go of the previous generation. They
Nope.
like because I mean, I don't blame him because at the end of the day, we all know that a bunch of these active Sony PlayStation users are on PS4 still to this day and still have the audacity to go on Twitter and make fun of people who own a Series S.
Yep.
Like,
Facts.
right? The nerve. Like, I can't stand these ponies, bro. I can't stand them. But it is what it is. Enjoy your
Yeah.
pisser. 10 years, 7 more
The
years of
PlayStation 5
pisser.
was a fucking Series S.
Hey,
It had the power of the Series S.
Just for
Okay.
4K.
Yeah.
Same game capability, just different
Same damn
resolution.
thing.
Come on, man.
we
Oh,
have
guys,
to,
I'm getting ripped off. It's so good. It feels
we
so
have
good.
we have to have a toast for 10 more years of pisser.
Just make sure there's not piss in there. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to
Yeah,
get
well,
too caught up
Damn.
in the idea. But no, I mean, listen, this is the thing, right? Like first party, like this is the way it's always been, right? Like this is not our first generation of gaming. We understand there's always crossover, right? But the crossover is mostly for third party, right? That's how you keep third
mhm.
party sustained while they wait for your next gen to ramp up. They still make a version for the last gen, right? First party is supposed to lead the way, right? First party is supposed to say, okay, we have faith in our new console, so we're going to go ahead and invest and make these next gen only games. Now, obviously, PlayStation lied to everybody and said that they believed in generations and that they were going to go ahead and uh and move away from it and give real true next generation games, right? And everybody gave Xbox shit because Xbox was like, listen, for 2 years, we're going to support the old console and then we're going into the new. And Xbox, that time came and went, and then boom, they did exactly what they said and started making their next gen games. While PlayStation, from the beginning, they were the first, they did deliver PlayStation exclusives that were PlayStation 5 only, right? They did give Demon Souls was a launch title, right? So technically they did do that, right? Returnal and Ratchet, they did happen. They had games that were there, but like they were also games that nobody really cared about, right? It was the games that people really cared about that they were like, no, 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 those are going to be everywhere, right? Which was the problem, right? Because it's like, no, dog, like we didn't sign up for your little fucking games. Like we wanted your big games to be next gen games, right? We wanted your big games to be like way different from what you've done on PlayStation 4, right? Because the mentality is simple. This is what we always think about when we go to a next generation. Man, if they did this with a Xbox One or a PlayStation 4, imagine what they'll do with this. Guys, let's just to kind of put some numbers out there, okay? An Xbox Series X is 12 terabytes, or I'm sorry, 12 teraflops, right? So it's 12 teraflops. The PlayStation 5 is 10 point whatever. Okay. Games that were made for the original Xbox were running on a system that was 1 point, dude,
3.
was it 1.1.3? And then the PlayStation 4 was 1.78 or some shit like that, right?
1.84. Yeah.
1.84 teraflops. Okay. Understand what the fuck we're talking about. Are you telling me that any of these PlayStation games that you've seen, that any of them looks like it's 5 times better looking than a fucking PlayStation 4 game? No. On Xbox, we have it. Hellblade, money cash, right? Hellblade is the epitome. But outside of Xbox, how are you telling me that this is a new, like, what the fuck? That's crazy.
In 2 years, CMoney. They're gonna try to figure it out in 2 years.
Yeah,
In
by
2 years.
2026.
So yeah. I mean, fingers crossed. That was before, the new budget. So we will see what they're gonna deliver. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
I'm just saying that the idea. What's up, Bounty? I see you, homie. The idea
Auntie.
that these people are now taking this step and saying, yeah, we're gonna just keep stretching it for as long as humanly possible. Like the Pro should have been out last year, and they should have been dropping in 2026 with a next gen. The fact that they're trying to stretch it out shows that they're not selling. And to be clear, like people who are not selling what they expected to sell, those are the people who want to do this, right? Xbox has always been kind of like, all right, let's go ahead and pull the trigger. Let's move forward, right? I mean, this was 7 years for both consoles on Xbox One, but on Xbox 360 generation, they did well for basically the first 2 generations, right? They no, hold on, wait. First generation, they jumped fast and they went a year before, right? So they were ready to go ahead and try to be ahead of time. PlayStation just always thought that they were the big dogs, right? So it didn't matter, right? But now, PlayStation's gonna be after Xbox again, man. They're gonna be after Xbox again. And the last time we saw that was the Xbox 360 generation when Xbox fucking destroyed shit. And this is not the same Xbox, right? That Xbox had all third-party games that were dropping there that really propelled, the 360 brand forward because they had exclusives that weren't anywhere else because they were the only next-gen console. This time, they will have a shit ton of their own stuff dropping into Game Pass. Man,
Yeah, that's the problem. It's
that
not the
would be crazy.
same. We're not the same, right? So they're gonna stay
No.
back there this time. That's the problem. They're gonna stay back there eating ass all day.
I mean,
oye.
I'm just saying, is that a bad thing? That's not like that's not the burn you think it is. You know what I'm saying? I guess it depends on what ass you're eating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I guess I get that. I guess I get that. But yeah, it's wild, but this is just, I guess this is just the new thing to expect, right? Like this is just the new for PlayStation. They're letting everybody know that we're not we're not rushing out of this generation. We're not going to be going ahead and, you're not going to be getting no PlayStation 6 anytime soon. So don't hold off here. Okay. Don't hold off here. Don't wait. Get the Pro because that PlayStation 5 is dirty and dusty. Nobody likes it. Every dev hates it. This is what we've been hearing. You know what I'm saying? It's so garbage of a console, holding everybody back, right? So jump to the Pro, right? That's what Digital Foundry's been telling us. I'm just saying. Anything else? Anything else on this before we move on to our next chapter?
All right. So I mean, I haven't actually talked about it yet.
Ah, come
Oh,
on.
shit.
Yeah, you forgot
God
about
damn it,
Harky.
Harky. My bad.
But okay, so essentially, like the assumption that it's going to be that long, I guess that's just true based on previous gen, right? It kind of makes sense that it would take that long. The thing to glean out of this is what you were saying is like, does this mean that PS6 really is going to be 2028? And I think they're mentioning it here, right? That like that it kind of pushes it out there, right? And if Microsoft
2028,
really does
2030, like it
yeah,
wasn't
well, that would be
2028.
crazy.
They said
Yeah.
2028, 2030. So this real quick, I'm not gonna just to insert what I'm thinking about this, and then so you can go with it. Does this mean if 2028 to 2030 is the key? Does this mean that at the end of the day, they almost feel like this is the plateau, right? Like they are getting to the point where they're not going to be able to show that much better than what you can experience on the PlayStation 5 with the PlayStation 6. And if they feel like they can't show you visually, because that's the thing, right? Let's be clear. The reason we all bag on the PlayStation 5 Pro, us in the know, right? Us hardcore people in the know, we can understand what they're doing, right? We understand what the point of the PlayStation 5 Pro is, right? It's not a next gen console, is what he's reiterating. So it was never going to do something wildly, drastically different. What it's doing is taking the games that look like shit at 60 FPS and they're trying to give you a better looking, closer to the 30 FPS mode. That's the point of this console.
Yeah.
The only reason it exists is to make it look as close as they can to the quality mode, maybe do something a little bit better in the quality mode itself, still give you options. So if you don't care about the frame rate, you're getting the better graphics on the console, whatever it is for the quality mode. Like that's what they're doing. So are we done? Like, is PlayStation tapping out of the idea of needing to get that much higher? Because if they're going to say that if PlayStation 6 comes out and we can't see how much better it looks than the PlayStation 5 version when Digital Foundry does their thing, I don't think people are going to buy it. Just like I don't think people are going to buy this much.
It depends on where gaming is going. This is the stuff that gets very tricky, right? To have a very long generation these days is going to become, it's just going to become more and more challenging. And the reason is simply we're used to upgrading things faster. We just are. And if you say it's going to take that long to get to the next gen, and if Microsoft pulls off what they should be pulling off is saying, we're going to have our own hardware and it's going to rev a little bit faster, but we're also going to partner with OEMs and let you have newer devices all the time, right? The next ROG Ally is going to be an Xbox device. Well, there's just enthusiasm when that happens, right? There's just, hey, I'm going to go buy this portable thing. Oh, hey, Lenovo just announced this new desktop thing that runs at the level of a 4080 Super. Cool. I want to go get that, right? And like, as long as it runs my Xbox library, I don't care, right? I get to play all the games. At some point that becomes a problem if you're going to say it's that long. Now they might want to do that to have an install base, and this is where all the alignment has to come in. If they buy Valve, that's over. It's because now you just have all the games. It doesn't matter, right? The idea of having to port your game to that specific hardware just kind of goes away, right? It's just basically it just ROG runs to whatever device you have, and it just runs because it's a PC game. It just runs, right? So if they get to that level, like it becomes very hard for them to then compete to that, with a long life cycle. I don't know how well that's going to keep working because Imagine this, right? So the big thing that's left that the consoles can't do is path tracing, right? That's the one thing the PC can do, but you have to be very high end. Will the next gen be able to do some level of path tracing? Probably, right? What they're looking at, both of them, by the way, are looking at a Zen 6 and an RDNA 5. That's what they're looking at. Will that have the ability to do some level of path tracing? Probably. If they're going to wait a long time, well, then the other side's going to have all that, right? And then you're going to see all that like differentiation of saying, maybe I do, 45 frames, but I have path tracing. You might want that. There are gamers out there that are like, I want the fidelity, right? I'll forgive frame and go for fidelity. That's why they have the modes, by the way, right? So it is possible that you have that differentiation. The other thing that's kind of an interesting twist is the ability to do AI, which the Xbox is absolutely going to have. That is a corporate thing. Microsoft is doing AI. That is what they're doing, right?
And it's going to be used way differently by Microsoft than what PlayStation is doing with theirs, right?
Yeah, so they're doing AI upscale. Here, they're going to use AI to do the game, like to play the game, the interactivity, right? That's the whole point. But now the problem becomes this platform will have it, the other one won't. And if it doesn't have that ability, will third parties take advantage of it? Would you have a hampered experience on the PlayStation versus the Xbox? And I think this is where, unfortunately, they'll have to kind of make a cloud capability so that PlayStation can keep up. Because that's just the way it's going to have to be, right? So that you're going to have to take some of that and leverage cloud. The problem with that is cost, right? It's much easier to just take advantage of your hardware that you have right there. You bought it, it's there, right? Versus I have to stream something from the cloud. There's a cost involved, and will the third-party publisher want to pay that cost? This is the part where it sucks. It literally will be held back by PlayStation if Xbox has that capability and PlayStation does not. Now, this just depends on how many publishers Xbox has, because at least those publishers will take advantage, right?
That's what I was
so their own first party will take advantage. And then if it's exclusive, who cares? Whatever PlayStation, right? So if Elder Scrolls 6, for instance, is just exclusive to Xbox, they will take advantage, and you will have an experience that is unlike what you get on PlayStation.
And understand, right? Real quick, that is going to be that would be a problem. Like, it's not as simple as, oh, well, because PlayStation doesn't have it and I'm multi-platform, I'm not going to take advantage of it, because then your game is going to look like shit in comparison to everything that Xbox is putting out.
It's the experience. You won't get the same experience.
You're going to look so much diminished compared to everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and so these are the things that are going to happen. There's the visual capability. That's one thing. And usually players will be fine with, yes, you'll have the comparisons from Digital Foundry or other sites like that, but that's not the end all be all, right? What really is like the experience is different, and you're going to have a hampered experience, right? That's the part that's going to be interesting, right? And if that is the next gen feature, it will be hard for them to stay away from it. So I don't know what's happening there, right? If they wait too long, that becomes a headache. And I think that the 10-year cycle is going to have to shrink. You just look at like the next generations. Do they like waiting that long for new things? They just don't. They want the next thing now. They just want the next thing now. And like, I think people are used to the upgrade cycle. Your phones rev every year, right? That doesn't mean you buy it every year, but your phones rev every year. There's new tech every year. Like, are you really going to want to wait 10 years? It just seems like such a long time, especially when tech is moving so fast.
Yeah, what is your phone going to be able to do in 10 years?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. When these came out, the 2080-ish was about, it's 2070, something in that range was what these consoles were equivalent to. We're going to have the 5090 in 3-4 months.
Yeah.
We're so much ahead, and that's in 5 years. Imagine what it's going to be in another 5 years. Like the amount of capability is going to be so astronomically different. How can you hold back that long? So they have to do something faster. And I think, unfortunately, tech evolves so fast now that to be able to say that, hey, I need to have this massive 100 million install base, therefore I'm going to keep selling the same console. This is where the console just becomes a problem. It's like you can have that, but then you're hampering the experience. And that's kind of the way it is, right? Your PC experience is going to be so much more evolved than where you are today, that you're going to say, well, gee, I want to kind of take advantage of those features, but my game can't do that. So do I just say I schism away from that and go to the systems that can do it, right? And if Xbox provides that and you don't, like, it's yet another thing, right? It's just like we had with the 360. I can give you the platform. PlayStation isn't even here yet, right? And you just get the games because they're like, well, I want to do that, and I can't do it there. So it's exclusive only because I can't even put it there, right? And this is what will end up happening. They know that.
That's what happened to the
They're not
360,
stupid.
right?
They know that. Yeah, the 360 had a year plus like lead because they had next gen capabilities. They just did. And like PS2 could not play some of those games. PS3 hadn't come out yet. And you just got these exclusivity things because, well, it was the only platform that could do it. So, that's going to happen again. It's just going to. There are going to be games that want to be like, I want to do these new things, and I can't do them over there. AAA games, that's going to be tougher to do. But AA games, smaller indie games, they will, right? So you can see something like a Stellar Blade saying, I want to take advantage of that. I'm going to go put it here, right? And they may end up saying, you're here exclusive just because I can't put it the other place, right? And again, Microsoft has the advantage of saying, sure, we'll work with you to do that because we want to have our AI capability be represented. So we will give you money to help make it happen, and we'll put it in Game Pass. They have that luxury. Right? So not only does it help Microsoft corporate to sell a service to other game developers, it also helps them get a game, and it gets the game over the line and put it in Game Pass. Right? It's just a simple thing for them to do that and have that capability, a showpiece that they can put in a June showcase. Here's a new thing that's going to happen, only available here because we have the capability, right? And then in the background, they're telling all the publishers and developers out there, you can do this too. We're selling you this capability. Here's how you can take advantage of it and make your game do the same thing, right? That's like it's got Microsoft written all over it. This is exactly the kind of stuff they love to do, right? So we'll see what happens. They can't wait that long. They just can't. They're kind of stuck. They're stuck because they put the stupid PS5 Pro out. They're stuck. They now have to go through a hardware design cycle, right? And it just takes time. Unfortunately, it just takes time. So if they started, let's say mid this year, you're easily in 2027, 2028. That's just the way it goes, unfortunately. And that's the problem, right? So we'll see what happens. But as far as I understand it, again, these are all rumors. They're both targeting the same spec as far as RDNA and Zen architecture, so Zen 6 and RDNA 5. So there won't be a disparity in feature set. And the question is, how much power will each one have, right? How many teraflops, how much gigahertz of CPU speed, whatever. We'll figure all that out when they release it. But that's essentially it. And if Xbox goes a route of saying, we give you hardware, but we have partners too, yeah, I can't see how that's good for PlayStation, which is why I keep saying PlayStation should just adopt the same thing and be a partner, and instead just say, we're going to do Windows as well, and we have access to everything because it makes their life easier, right? But we'll see if they're stuck in their ways, or if the CEO and Hiroki are like, I don't care. How do I make more money?
We also don't know where they're going to be in that time, right? So like we don't know what Xbox is going to be able to do. I mean, if you think about 5 years, if you go back 5 years from now, 2019, that was before the launch of the series. We did not know they were going to buy Bethesda. We did not know they were going to buy Activision. In that 5 years, they changed the world of gaming for the better, right? But huge for Xbox, right? They went from making money as a side piece, doing good but not doing crazy, to surpassing the Windows division, right? Like that is what they accomplished in these 5 years. So what does that mean for the next 5 years? If they pick up another major publisher, come on, man. Come on, we're not even like or 2 or 3. I mean, this is the thing, right? It's wild. It's wild.
It is what it is, right? So we will see how that plays out for them. A 10-year cycle, though, I get it from the old mindset. That's exactly what they're just replicating what they had. I don't know that the market is going to be happy with that, but we'll see. I don't know how often people want to upgrade, but my feeling is that people want to upgrade faster these days. because they just see tech changing all the time, right?
Mhm.
So
I agree.